on, Foxy. It's your birthday. Not for real, just for play. This is Cree Summer, and Moana Nui will be right back.
Good evening and welcome to Moana Nui presents Whatcha Watchin After Dark. Tonight we will be discussing Thunderbolts as well as some other programs. First, my wondrous panel. How is everyone doing considering 80% of us were at MomoCon this weekend?
Doing great.
Y'all tired? Y'all look like y'all had fun.
MomoCon was a lot of fun. It really was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. I met DMC and I hugged him.
We all met DMC.
Okay, Teresa, Joy.
While he was signing autographs, I rubbed my temple on his shoulder just like this. We had a moment. It was great.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's gonna be like this all night. In case this is your first time watching, this is pretty much what's gonna be all night.
It's what we do.
Pretty much.
It's what I came to do. It's what I do. I drink and I cause chaos.
Emphasis on causing chaos.
I'm like, because sometimes there's no drinking.
Right. This is water.
Same. Hydration after the con is a must.
Yes.
All
you know
right.
you're dehydrated when you drink like just a glass of like room temperature water and you can feel the cold going down your throat, like it's opening up channels that have been like plastered together. It's amazing. That was me like Monday.
Oh gosh. All right. As always, spoilers. It's your only warning. If you ain't seen Thunderbolts by now, I got nothing for you. But yeah, Thunderbolts is where we're going to start this evening, or as I like to call it, Marvel's blatant and direct PSA to get some therapy.
Yeah.
Because now, granted, there have been other movies in which the central focus was the main character needed some therapy, but
like Hancock.
That's not a Marvel film.
It has to only be Marvel movies.
I mean, I did mention the Marvel films previously doing it. So Iron Man 3, Thor, The Dark World, as bad as it was.
I don't remember that movie.
Wait, you think Thor, The Dark World was a message for therapy?
Loki. Yes. Loki basically crashed out.
What happened in that movie?
Because of his mother.
To help, Thor needed help to defeat the Dark Elves. He broke Loki out of jail. Basically, Loki was in jail crashing out.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, I remember that. I'm just not sure I agree with you on it being a message for therapy.
Nah, he needed therapy.
If
you don't think Loki needs therapy, I think you need to go rewatch the entire Thor saga.
No, Loki needs to be smacked around a little bit.
He needs therapy.
He does have daddy issues.
He does have daddy issues. And he has an inferiority complex.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to word it. He's super jealous of Thor.
The thing is, everybody needs therapy. So
yeah, but he
could argue that any villain needs therapy. Hell, Batman needs therapy. And he's kind of a villain.
Oh, well, yeah, Batman definitely needs therapy. You get no argument from me on that one.
Definitely.
All right, so Thunderbolts, we have John Walker, Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, Ghost, Taskmaster, R.I.P. Taskmaster, because that was dirty.
That was dirty. Why even put her in it?
And Bucky with the good hair, as the ladies call him.
Yes. Better call Bucky with the good hair.
Not Bucky with the good hair.
I mean,
sexy.
Just Bucky won't do.
Oh goodness.
So Valentina, who's the rest of her name I will never try to pronounce going forward. It's just Valentina. Y'all know who she is, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Sets these people up to kill each other, and instead of it blowing up in her face, she somehow came out on top.
I want her for president.
I like Pond Scum for president right now.
I mean, if you're gonna be corrupt, at least be smart about it.
That is true, Joy. Yes, be smart about it if you're going to be down and dirty and corrupt. But she basically had every angle covered because she literally played everybody, even when it wasn't going her way. She was still playing folk.
I mean, she ran the CIA, so of course she knows how to rub every angle and keep things going in her direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I don't know how long she ran the CIA, but they made mention of her running the CIA.
Right, because she used to date the Hobbit. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Ross, Agent Ross.
Agent Ross.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
They were married.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They were married. That was mentioned in Wakanda Forever. So, thoughts on the movie in general before we get into details? Even then,
in Wakanda Forever, she, hooked up with her ex and bugged his phone.
Right.
Never
bugged his life, actually, not just his phone.
Yeah, she bugged everything. Mm-hmm.
So, initial thoughts on this film before we dive into it.
That's a thought.
Somehow I am not surprised by that reaction of It's on brand.
Don't like. So to me, it's kind of how I feel about the prequel trilogies to Star Wars. I always wondered, how did the Emperor take over and become the Emperor? And then the prequel trilogies show me exactly how he became the Emperor. You can debate the quality of those movies. I will not tell anybody that they're good or bad because everybody likes what they like. But in all honesty, those three movies to me were, you filled in some historical gaps, but you didn't really do anything new.
Those movies are basura. But yeah, you make a good point. Like, matter of fact, I saw a post on one of those social media recently that said, you got to see how Palpatine became the Emperor and you still voted for Trump. And I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair. I like the movie. It's not something I would see again. Like, I've seen Sinners 4 times. I saw Thunderbolts and I was like, all right, check the box.
Yeah, Sinners beat out that for me. I wasn't trying to go see that because I just kept going to see Sinners.
I have cut off people who saw Thunderbolts before seeing Sinners.
Yeah, we have another friend. During the interviews we were doing, one writer said that he was thinking about severing ties with his partner because he hadn't seen Sinners, and kind of was dogging out Coogler about it because he misunderstood some things. But the ignorance can do that to you. But I liked it. I just didn't like it enough to see it again. I'm glad I saw it.
Right.
And I really appreciated the way they treated mental illness in the movie. There's a lot of bits and pieces in there that they did better than I've seen other people do it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it twice.
You saw it twice?
I saw it twice. I was entertained, but I do not agree with all the people saying that it's the best Marvel movie since Endgame.
No.
Wait, who said that? People are saying that?
I've seen that several times.
Good point, James. Good point.
Those people, yes.
Because what has come out?
I was entertained, and I mean, I see all Marvel movies at least twice.
Okay.
But yeah, it was no Sinners.
But if you think about it, what has come out since Endgame that starred an all-white cast?
Well, right, exactly. That's why it was the best movie since best Marvel movie since Endgame, because you've had the Marvels.
You had Wakanda Forever.
Captain America: Brave New World. So
Shang-Chi.
of course it's gonna be better than those.
Mhm. Even on Disney, you had what, Echo and
Moon Knight,
Moon, yeah,
Mhm.
Moon
Ms.
Knight,
Marvel,
yeah.
It's
They,
Marvel.
She-Hulk.
So
yeah.
what they meant to say instead of the best Marvel movie since Endgame was the most
It was, yeah.
Marvel movie.
I mean, yeah. Let's be fair. It's the whitest film Marvel's done since Endgame.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I have a question. It bothered me. Like, it kept taking me out of every movie that he's in with this accent. Is the Russian agent? What's his name? Red Protector.
Red
Red
Guardian.
Guardian.
The Red Guardian. Wasn't he undercover in the United States at one point?
Yes.
Yes.
Then why is his accent so doggone strong when he was supposed to pass for an American?
Because it never really went away. Like, as undercover as he was, he couldn't.
I got no problem. You know what? Let me take that back. I don't have a problem with his accent, although I don't think that during the height of the Red Scare, anybody would have believed he was an American citizen with that accent. But his syntax is bad. He's still saying stuff like, "We make food." You know, like, bruh, you was in the United States for like 30 years.
So
Why
wait,
can't
so
you string together a good sentence?
No, who's
the
that
question
comedian?
I would ask though is when he was undercover, was he actually supposed to be undercover as an American?
Okay, that's fair. Maybe he was undercover as a Russian.
Because
But
I
again-
don't know.
I feel like he was doing his Yakov Smirnoff.
Which is terrible.
Fair enough, but Yakov pretty much leaned into like America, what a country, but his accent never went anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, he just leaned into it and made it part of his shtick. And I feel like that's what David
Harbour
he was going for in playing Alexei.
I hear you. I'm just saying. I'm leaning towards Furious's take on it. He was
Well,
supposed
when
to
they go home, Joy, and they speak in their language, it's like you're out in the world. It's like how they are right now. When you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that you were English, because they're talking with an American accent, and then here they go speaking in their own language. So it's like,
yeah, but in both versions of that language, they use good syntax. My issue is he wasn't stringing good English sentences together, regardless of the accent. Like,
maybe he was supposed to be the comic relief, because if we look at, I won't say all the Marvel movies, but most of the Marvel movies, there's always somebody who's a little bit more humorous than the rest of the cast.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the comic relief. That was obvious.
Yeah.
And also the heart of the team. You know, like he did the same thing in Black Widow. He was the heart of the team or the family, you know. And like I said, I like the movie. I wanted him to speak better English, not accented wise, but just sentence formation wise.
To me, I loved his. I don't particularly care for this phrase, but I think in this instance it's appropriate. I loved his broken English. I did.
I did too, actually. It was endearing, and it completed the character, you know.
Okay.
I agree with y'all that it was cute, and I liked him. He's one of my favorite characters in the movie. I just, you know, the dog with a bone part of my brain is like, but there's no way he was undercover with that voice. No way. That's the only thing. Like, I'm like, this movie was cool, and I really like what they did, but no, not that piece though. That piece sticks right here. Like
maybe he's undercover as a Russian gymnastics coach.
Okay, you solved it for me. That works.
Wow.
I will take that. Like Furious was saying, like maybe he didn't have to have a American accent to do whatever undercover work he was doing. So I will rock with that. He was a gym coach, because you know we was loving us some Russian gym coaches in the 80s.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He did coach the girls softball team, which happened to be named the
There you
Thunderbolts.
go, the Thunderbolts.
That's right.
Or youth softball team. I won't say girls softball team, because they did mention kids in general. So Bucky being senator, like, how do we feel about that after the glimpse when he was running in Brave New World? No,
I think I haven't seen the movie, but to me, he's the the best person that could be a senator, because he knows everything that's happening within the world of with Captain America and how they was fighting and the difference when Sonovia was crashed and blew up, and just the whole background of he can fight for them. In my opinion, that's the best for them to have, like how Beast was for them in the X-Men, how he was in the government to help fight for the mutants. I think that's what Bucky is.
I just kind of thought that was the way they got him into the movie, to be honest, because without him there being running for office, I don't know that he's in any position to have learned any of the things that he learned and to help them out.
Agreed. They needed him to be the tap into what LaFontaine was doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And I like the fact that even though he's playing that role, he never lost who he was, because specifically that one scene where he's talking to Wendell Pierce's character, and they're talking behind a column, and he says, "Hey, this is the one place where the cameras can't see us, and we can actually talk and be free." You know, he's still playing that Winter Soldier role while trying to be a congressperson.
Yeah. The congressperson is the mask, because he's really the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, exactly.
Not something he can easily shake, as he showed in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he was trying to make amends for all his past misdeeds, if you will.
Yeah.
Right. But you know what? As far as a former brainwashed murderer becoming a senator, one, America, but two, you cannot overlook the fact that Bucky is hot whether he is clean or dirty. Even if he's clean shaven, he's all American cute, and if he's fuzz,
bad boy, sexy.
I think he's
long hair looking like the
hot or
Witcher, then
dirty.
we got grunge hot. So he was gonna get the vote no matter what. I promise you, he won the female vote regardless of race, gender, or either. Yes.
He's got that Jason Momoa hot, dirty.
That hair, oily, clean, no matter what.
Like, what's your boy's name that plays Superman and plays the Witcher?
Oh, Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Hot, dirty.
Yeah.
Yep. Could put me through a mattress. It'd be awesome. What?
Nothing. I should be used to this by now. I do this to myself.
There's this sound on TikTok that says, "Looks like a cupcake, will put you through a mattress." Okay, looks like a cupcake, will put you through a mattress. And so I've been saying that for the last few days. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
I'm gonna put that in the chat so y'all know what I'm talking about.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so
sexy shit. He can pick me up and walk me around the room.
I'm saying, like, what was that? Baby boy, ribbit. Ribbit. I'm so sorry, boys. I'm so sorry. This is terrible.
You're not, which is why I'm not even gonna say anything. Moving on.
He's the white wolf.
So the sequence in which they're all trying to off each other, minus Bucky. Did anyone actually think any of them were really going to die at that point?
No.
I was not expecting Taskmaster to die.
I don't think anybody was at that point.
And that's the girl, right?
Yes. Yeah. That was one of the women, yes.
The chick that was vibrating in the other movie.
No, that's
that's Ghost.
Okay.
But isn't the Taskmaster lady, isn't she, they've been showing pictures of everybody filming in wherever they are, and isn't she there? So, I mean, it's going to be a flashback or something, or she's not dead.
Nah, that was a bullet to the brain.
Or another multiverse Either
I'll tell
way,
you what,
the
though,
actress is in the movie.
I'm looking through all of the artwork for the movie, posters and everything, and on every poster, Taskmaster has their helmet on, like you can't see the face.
Right.
So it is very possible that they killed this one and bring somebody back as Taskmaster, but it's a different person,
Right.
still same mask. That's very possible.
Yeah,
because I can't see them just wasting that character like that.
Yeah, I still haven't seen
Black Widow.
Black Widow, but wasn't Taskmaster in Black Widow a robot?
No,
she was just
brainwashed,
manipulated,
Okay,
like the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so
but what Widow can be? Well, I can't say that. I was going to say what Widow can really be Taskmaster. Okay.
Anybody they could brainwash to put in that role later on, but for the purpose of the Black Widow film, the little Natasha was supposed to kill somebody but didn't because his little girl was present.
Gotcha.
But somehow the bomb still went off. The little girl got gravely injured, and the mark she was supposed to kill was the one running the Red Room that was training the widows. So he basically raised his daughter as Taskmaster. So that basically was her trauma.
And then what if down the line no, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying learning everybody's moves. This is why I was like, who can really be Taskmaster that knows everybody else's moves?
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Taskmaster, we see a Taskmaster again down the line, and they happen to be somebody kind of like the Winter Soldier who's been brainwashed. And one of the things that happens in the brainwashing is, they've got an eidetic. Am I saying that right? Eidetic. Thank you. Eidetic memory, and everything they see, they can mimic and remember.
Yeah. So basically, like the Matrix, you just download kung fu. Into their brain.
That ability just becomes a mutant power because those things are coming at some point.
Yeah, they're very close.
Spoilers for the end of the film. We'll get there when we get there.
How many were there? How many scenes were there? There was 2 after?
2.
2. Mm-hmm. So we all feel that Taskmaster was pretty much wasted in this movie.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to remember if Bucky said what his reason was for basically tracking them down. He did. So basically, Bucky captures all of them to out Valentina because supposedly her position in the government, because she's no longer running the CIA, whatever her role is, she supposedly was to divest all of her private company interest or whatever like that, and all the previous things that she was supposed to do was supposed to be shut down, and she was basically scrubbing the last few facilities into other black sites that the government wasn't supposed to know about.
Right. And the plan was to scrub this last site, then have everybody that she sent out there scrub each other out and be done with it.
And then incinerate the room.
So she was basically another Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No, because she's smart.
Again, she has intelligence. She has a brain that functions. She's knows brilliant. That the Earth is round. She knows that there are no Jewish space lasers.
That part. But I found it interesting that a bunch of trigger happy and murder happy people saw this guy just come out of nowhere in a room that they were in and closed and didn't just kill him immediately.
I mean, confusion because so when they all realized that they were all there to kill each other, it was kind of like, okay, so who's supposed to off this guy?
But you know that you're going down there to either track and assassinate somebody or blow up the building. How did he get there? Nobody gets to that site because they missed a bus. He's here for a reason. Blow him up with everything else, and look how many people you. You know what else I want to know? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What happened to all the smoke people? Like throughout the movie, he's just flat smoking people, and you see the heroes come back out. But what about everybody else? Where they at? Are they still sitting there living out their worst nightmares and whatnot? Like what happened to the people he smoked the first time? 10 years ago, before they put him in a box. Where are these people?
Okay, so even though the film doesn't explicitly show it, I believe the first couple of people that got smoked, if you will, they're gone because there was no one to help him control or get some semblance of control of these abilities.
I did.
Comic book stuff aside, we're gonna put the comic. I know you know more than what the movie put out there.
Well, no. My response to that is purely based on what happens in the movie.
Okay.
Because at the end, when they bring him out, everyone else that we see who got smoked came back
out. Yes.
So if just purely movie logic, those people that got smoked in those pictures that we see early on in the movie, when they got him put to sleep and got him subdued, in theory, they should have come back too.
After 10 years, though?
But what I'm saying is they should have come back as soon as he was put under. Because at the end, as soon as they bring Bob back out and the void goes away, the people come back. It was pretty instant. So I'm saying, in theory, those people in the beginning from those pictures, they should have come back as well. If they didn't, then that's just a piece of the movie, that a plot hole that they got wrong, or I don't know. But that's based on what happens in the movie. That's what should have happened with them.
Yeah, but so to counter, we didn't see that. The photos and all the information they had said that those people were dead. And remember, they had to put him down, and they threw him in that box as failed experiment number blah 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 for however many times they tried to do this. Yep. And that's why he was in the vault to begin with.
Yep.
So in their minds, he was failed and disposed of. So they're probably thinking he was just dead.
Yeah.
So we don't know, as far as the framework of the film, if his quote death brings those people out, because that's pretty much what they had to do after he dusted or whatever the first couple of people. That was their failsafe. That did not work the second time.
Joy, you're muted.
Right. The assumption that you're making about, he passed out or fell out or whatever, and everybody was released, was that's the reason people got released this time. It could be that since he conquered his demon, so to speak, or at least subdued it, he was able to intentionally let everybody go that he had captured this time.
Fair point.
In the past, he did not subdue. So the people that he first captured could be, smoke on the wall and be tortured for the rest of their lives, like for the last 40 years.
Fair.
In his brain somewhere.
So let's talk about Bob and this experiment that he volunteered for.
First off, don't never answer an ad that makes you sign an NDA.
Or a clinical trial.
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, this clinical trial and ad that he volunteered for and responded to was not here in America. It was in another country.
Country doesn't matter. Don't ever answer an ad for medical research. Can't
imagine what that informed consent form must have looked like.
Right.
Everybody won't turn into a Captain America.
Right.
He was just looking for a way to be useful, because that was the lowest point in his life. Everything he basically regarded himself as a failure in everything he had done up until that point. So he figures at least this way, even if I'm pretty sure because he does mention one of the side effects of the experiment could possibly be death, and he was ready for that because he didn't think he amounted to anything of use.
That's another thing, that whoever was running that experiment focused too much on the science and not enough on the psychology, because you should not put potentially suicidal people or folks that are not mentally stable in a government experiment or any sort of experiment. Because that's the difference between Steve Rogers and everybody else.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting ready to say there, Joy. That's what he said. It's in his heart.
He's lawfully good in his heart. He gonna always do the right thing. He doesn't use bad words. He respects the ladies. You don't find that all the time. And he really wanted to do something for his country. And he tried it because he was desperate to be a soldier for the country, right?
Yeah.
Other people are just like, well, I ain't got nothing else to do and I'm out of meth. So I guess I'll go ahead and try and get in this clinical trial. That's crazy. That's crazy.
But I think, sorry, hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things though that made Bob a good candidate though is he's somebody that if he died, he wouldn't have been missed. Nobody was going to come looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Very much so.
And I don't know that that's the same of the other people, but I'd wager the other people in the trials, nobody's going to come looking for them either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, when you're doing, off the books government experiments like that, at least that's what we see in comic books and sometimes in real life, they do tend to take people who pretty much have nothing to lose. There's not going to be any family who's going to miss them if they're gone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you really want to get morbid, we can talk about all the missing Native American girls in the United States right now. Don't nobody know where they are.
Nope.
Fair enough.
But we got some new miracle penis hardening drug every week.
So
you want me to play the Debbie Downer music now?
Getting back to the film, after Valentina pretty much cleans up her failed attempt to scrub the site and realizes Bob is still out there, she does feel the mother void to try to control him. Now, this is the part that always baffles me. Why are we doing experiments to create super powerful beings that we can't control? Like, if
she thought she could.
Right.
Yeah, nobody creates something they think they can't control. I mean, look at Jurassic Park. They keep making the same mistake over and over again. This time,
it's dumb. It is dumb. Let me make a dinosaur so I can control it. There's no controlling the dinosaur.
I know what I did wrong. Next time I'm gonna make a flying dinosaur. What's wrong with you?
and she also thought that the kill switch would work.
Right. Yeah.
Because the kill switch got burnt when they tried to kill the group in the beginning of the film, because it was in there.
Right.
But they tried to make another one based on whatever notes survived them torching the room, which wasn't much because they tried to dump basically the entire research.
Oh, I'm sure she had backups. Like there are backups of the research.
Mm-hmm.
Those are poor backups.
I mean, but not really, because the kill switch worked.
Did it though?
Yeah, it did.
It just didn't keep working.
Right.
It ended up being a knockout switch since he had massive healing abilities.
Right, because of all the extra abilities that they gave him, it didn't do what it was supposed to do.
$5 says that's Wolverine's blood.
Oh.
And they didn't think about this when they made this person?
No, they don't.
No,
they made
of course
this
not.
kill switch?
Because this kill switch was guaranteed 100% not going to fail, definitely work.
Yeah,
Kind of sort of maybe 1 out of every 1,000 attempts.
Joy, I'll take that bet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that bet.
But
look, go ahead, Joy.
I was gonna say, like, just going through, the rest of the movie. So, they all band together and blah blah blah. But I liked watching. I thought that the villain origin story arc for Bob was better than the whole last season of Game of Thrones. Like, you get to watch him slowly but surely stop trusting everyone, spiral deeper into depression.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand that depression can manifest as uncontrollable anger that has no outlet. And so you become depressed. And people always think it's about sadness. Sometimes it's about uncontrollable rage. And I think that's what he had. He was depressed. He was suicidal, but he was thinking of killing himself because he wanted to kill everybody. And so then it started. That's what happens when you give him superpower. And all he wanted was for people to love and care for him. And everybody kept abandoning him. And as far as the mental illness piece goes, early on in the movie, he's talking to what's Black Widow's sister name?
Yelena.
He's talking to Yelena, and she seems like she can relate And then she kind of jokes it off and is like, you know what you do with those feelings when you feel that way? Like the world is getting to you, you just press it down and you don't talk about it. And you just keep it pressed down in there. And she kind of laughed it off. And it looked like he was about to say, but what if you can't or whatever? But then, they had to fight. But sometimes people make a cry for help and they get met with, oh, it's fine. It'll be fine. Just suck it up a little longer. It'll go away. And it didn't. And then he murdered a lot of people.
In which the power of friendship saved the day at the end.
Anime.
Super Friends.
It wasn't. I get that you're saying the power of friendship, but it was.
No, but seriously.
I'm a big fan of empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach that during the day, blah, blah, blah. And Brene Brown did a cartoon. They made a cartoon out of her TED Talk where she talked about empathy and the difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is, wow, that hole you're in looks deep. Sorry, you want a sandwich? Some water? I can help you, but never really any real assistance. And that's sympathy. I see what you're going through. I can't really relate, but I hope it gets better for you. And then empathy is, I see what you're going through and I can feel your pain. And so the cartoon for the empathy, the person that's in the hole, somebody comes down in the hole with them to keep them company in the hole. Which is why a lot of people that say, if they say I'm a natural empath or whatever, when they talk about they can feel other people's pain and they feel the frustration other people feel, that is real. And because they can relate so much so to where they get more angry at the person's ops than the person, right?
Yeah.
Want to fight on behalf of your friend. That's empathy. And you see that in Yelena at the end of the movie. So when she walked into the smoke, she's like, I'm going to go in this hole with you. Because she did understand what he was feeling, because they'd had that connection earlier where she kind of played it off. And it was really, really brave to think that she was going to live through that. Because right at the moment, everybody looked like a flashbang shadow on the ground.
Right.
And she's like, I'm going to walk in here. And then that was how you got to him. And yes, it was friendship, but it was also empathy.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I came here to say. So I'm going to be quiet now.
The two sides of joy, ladies and gentlemen. Chaos will be back shortly. But no, not to make light of the resolution of the film, but yes, I mean, and I find it weird in such a way, considering what each of those characters went through, and we see like their darkest moments inside the void for a few of them. Like we see it for Yelena, we see it for John Walker. I think we see it we do see it for Alexei a little bit, but that's about it. We don't see it for Ghost, and we don't see it for Bucky.
We damn sure don't see it for Taskmaster.
Well, I mean, she's dead. She's pretty much a burnt corpse at this point. That they may try to reanimate later. Who knows? It's Val. Come on now. She did this to Bob. She would probably reanimate Taskmaster.
Assuming there's enough to do it. Oh, I believe you. No. I'm not doubting you on that aspect.
All I needed some DNA and do a whole Fifth Element thing and recreate it from a hand or something.
But it seems like even through the resolution, like you said, Yelena was the first one to walk into the smoke. Even afterwards, when everyone's trying to help Bob regain control of his body, because basically it's a fight between him and himself. His dark impulses. Yeah. And his dark impulses are slowly winning, but everything he's doing is just feeding them and making them stronger because of the whole just push it down, that'll work type thing. And Yelena's like, I'm wrong. So he tries to fight back by trying to lean on them. It seems as though she was the only one trying to make a genuine effort, because everyone else is just like, what do we do with this guy? And I get it, but it's like, considering all of them have been through some completely jacked up stuff in their life and have done some insanely cruel things, to put it lightly, as far as what they do and why each of them was working for Valentina, how they got to that point. You figure more of them would have, like you said, Joy, empathy to help Bob, but Yelena was the only one. And part of me wonders if that's because of her relationship with Natasha and the fact that she also had Alexei, because she does go to him after, the film opens with her actually doing the mission. Then right after, she goes to Alexei before she's called on the mission to murk everybody else. So
From what we see in the film, she's the only person who has somebody.
Yeah. And I think that also is important when we talk about mental health is, do you have a support system? You know, some friends, someone to talk to. Bucky had actual therapy, and everybody else is just out there, you know, like just raw dog in life. And
let me push back on that one, because this is where I fault Marvel for horrible writing. Ghost has Bill Foster. At the end of Ant-Man 2, her and Bill Foster go off together. Now,
right, but we don't know
what's happened
that relationship
since then,
is.
because we don't know what happened since then, other than she's doing Black Ops work for Val. And for me, I feel like that's horrible writing, because you're axing out her anchor to shoehorn her into this ragtag group of misfits, if you will.
Well, what makes you think that he doesn't support her Black Ops stuff?
Because all throughout Ant-Man 2, he goes from helping her by any means necessary to actually trying to work with the Pims to get her the help she needs. And you can see that change in him from the beginning to the end of the film. To at the end where he's like, hey, we can find another way. You don't have to kill Janet. Like, stop what you're doing. This is not necessary. We can find a way to help you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then what does she do in response to that?
Eventually, she stops.
Not what did she do when he said that to her, though?
Huh?
Didn't she like knock him out or something?
She did push him away.
Yeah. So what makes you think they're so close now?
Because because he was the one raising her after her parents died.
A whole lot of people ain't close to their parents. They ain't got nothing to do with it.
Fair. No, but
I say that she at least had a father figure in her life.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying, and you know.
Yeah.
But I would look at for how long she was in pain and suffering from before they were able to stabilize her condition. She may mentally not be ready for the help that he was trying to give her. Because you have to be ready to receive help to get help. And she may not have been there. That aspect of the story they never explored, so we don't really know.
Y'all making that old man hella virtuous. Like, all we know about him is that he was okay with her murdering people to solve their own ends. What makes us think that he's not okay with her bringing home more than the bacon, you know, being Black Ops? Like, and he's not like he hadn't done any of that before. He is not some, you know, true north compass of morality.
Wait, Joy, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about
the man that took her, that went off with
Lawrence
her.
Fishburne. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill Foster, Lawrence Fishburne's character.
He was totally fine with her murdering people when he thought it had to happen. But now y'all like, well, he wouldn't want her to do Black Ops. The difference is what? They need money.
Like I said,
you know how much all that anti-phase stuff costs?
It was a change throughout the film. In the beginning, yes, but at the end, no. That's all I'm saying. Like, by the end of the movie,
is you assume that because she has somebody in her life that person doesn't support her lifestyle.
But we don't know because we didn't see him in this film, and we don't even know where he is.
We didn't need him in this film. You know how much Lawrence Fishburne costs?
Okay, now you sound like Deadpool.
He's dead. Deadpool and Joy, both of them are not wrong. They're not wrong.
Gosh, do you know how much that actor costs?
Yo, I'm just saying, you can have Lawrence Fishburne, or you can have the rest of the team.
Fair. But I mean, she didn't even mention him at all, which I find odd.
In some aspects.
I mean,
the only reason that Natalia is Yelena is I don't know. I wanted to be Natalia. The only reason that Yelena is talking to her dad is because he's in the movie. Like, he's on the team, and you needed her to have a reason to have been in touch with him so that he would know where she was, so that he would come out there in that red suit and try to save her. Like, all of that is dependent on her being in touch with him in some kind of way. And even then, they said that they hadn't talked in a while. Right. So they weren't super close. But she does lean on him during the movie. she did think to go to him once, so she does have a tether, but not necessarily an anchor.
Right.
You know, so they ain't that good of people. At least they weren't at the beginning of the movie. So,
and honestly, with Ghost, you could swap her out for any other villain and put in her place. There's other than her ability to become invisible and phase, there's nothing that makes her crucial to the team.
Like when they talk about none of us can fly, and so we just shoot and punch. Yeah.
So did Natasha and her father talk about Natalie?
Yelena and her father?
Yelena and Alexei?
Yeah, Natasha.
No,
they didn't mention Natasha at all.
She's been dead a long time at this point, so they kind of over it. They don't talk about it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, this is a thing that has been going around, and if depending if which groups you're in and what information you've seen and articles you've read, there is an uptick in fanboyism for John Walker.
Of course.
Why is anyone surprised by that?
You know why?
I know why. It's just one of those things where it's like,
because he's going to make America great again.
Oh my God.
Not
his
only
name
that,
his name may as well be Brandon.
Child for incel. Like, he wants to be rough, he wants to be tough, but his wife and kid left him. He's lonely in there, and so they made him sympathetic. You know, like, that sucks. His life
I felt no
great.
sympathy for him whatsoever because he did everything himself.
Yeah, of course, we get that. But think about how many alpha male podcasts there are. Every alpha male podcaster out there, and everybody that follows them would have seen those scenes and said that woman was wrong for leaving a man when he was struggling.
It was all her fault.
All her fault. And she took his kid too. He is to be pitied. And that's what they took from that. And not that he made a bed and had to lie in it. You know? Right. Even in the commercials, they made it seem like you should feel some sort of emotion behind him being in a room with his kid, even in the commercials. And then when you see what happened, I was like, you're even more of a jerk than I thought you were. But a lot of people read that as he was struggling and she should have stand by her man. I don't stand by any man. And that's the end of the sentence. Like, I don't understand.
And then he also completely lies to the team about his situation.
Yeah.
So no,
but I can see why that population would that they would be gaining fans, because the same way you see Homelander,
yes,
eyeball laser somebody in daylight, playing daylight, and people clap for it because they just want to have an avatar that makes them feel powerful.
Yep. All they see is that he lost his job as Captain America to somebody who shouldn't be Captain America.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's all they see.
Matter of fact, oh my God, they just did the Mr. Universe contest this year, and they, every man comes with like his country's native garb on, the feathers and the colors and the flag and everything. And the Mr. United States was a tawny brown, light blonde hair, brown eyed guy dressed as this dude. He was supposed to be Captain America, but it was very much
John Walker.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
I'm gonna find it. If I can find it before the show is over, I'm gonna send it to James.
Oh my gosh! I did not need to know that.
But it doesn't surprise me that that happened.
No, not at all. So post-credit scenes. Obviously the one that's leading to the next Marvel movie, where they are coming in from a mission and still can't use the Avengers because rightfully so, Captain America, aka Sam Wilson, will not let them use it. And
he's filed a trademark on it.
Good for him.
Yep.
Good for him to not let them Tesla that. Sorry, not Tesla, Edison.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. For those not to know, Edison didn't invent a lot of things you think he did. Look it up. He took credit. He took credit. That's it. And they're in the old Avengers Tower, which the fact that some of that stuff actually still works and they got it working, considering who built it all.
Didn't she buy it? What's her face?
Yeah. She bought the building. She bought the building, but I mean, let's remember, this is a building that basically Stark built from scratch. And it doesn't seem like, at least while Stark was alive, the rest of the country has not caught up to Stark tech, if you will.
Well, S.H.I.E.L.D. caught up to Stark tech.
That's because Stark actually built stuff for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, remember there was a scene where Tony and Pepper are sitting there talking, and Jarvis tells him Coulson is trying to come up and see him, and they try and shut him out. And Jarvis tells Stark that my security protocols are being overwritten, and they're being overwritten by Coulson. So no, S.H.I.E.L.D. had technology, at least in that instance,
right,
that was more advanced than Stark. Which to me, if you've got it once, it's not a stretch that you'll have it more.
Fair. But
good point.
And plus, remember, she also ran Oscorp. So she's got access to
Wait, did they mention Oscorp in this movie?
Yes, they did. So she's got access to Oscorp technology.
I might have to listen to that scene again because I did not catch Oscorp in at all in the film, but
yeah, they only mention it it's mentioned a few times, and it's it's not like real loud and boisterous Oscorp, but it's a couple of times they do mention her ties and connections with Oscorp. Okay. So she's got Oscorp technology, she's running the CIA, and they listen to everything, so they've got some S.H.I.E.L.D. technology.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes perfect sense that she was able to get the tower up and running quickly. And the other thing to factor in that I'm not certain of is, in the Marvel universe, how much time has passed from what movie was it when they were evacuating the tower? That was the second Spider-Man movie, wasn't it? Or was it the first Spider-Man? I don't remember.
Evacuating the tower.
When did Tony and Stark move out of Avengers Tower?
Oh,
it was one of the Spider-Man movies.
The first one.
So do we know roughly how much time has passed between that and now? Or that and Thunderbolts?
Several years.
So she's had time to get it working.
Yeah. And then another year and a half from the end of the film to the post-credit scene.
Right.
So, which ends with them observing a ship in space that has the 4 logo on it.
Yeah.
So, Fantastic Four spoiler.
And plus, they say the whatever satellite that they're using tells them there is an interdimensional energy signature.
Yeah. So what they're leaning into with that, please help me understand, is that the Fantastic Four movie that we're about to see is a different dimension, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken, if they're going to tell the story that I think they're going to tell, the Fantastic Four are the only superheroes in that universe.
And then they get ported over here. Oh, that's jacked up.
Well, we don't know who's on the ship. Because
then that means that they're pulling in the people from the X-Men where what's her face is at.
Photon.
Quite possibly.
Monica Rambeau, yes.
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah. Because like I said, because all they show is the ship. We don't know who's on that ship. And if they're pulling from the stories that I think they're pulling from, there was a Marvel event where all the multiverses collapsed into one universe. If they're pulling from that story, the universe that the Fantastic Four are in gets destroyed.
Kind of the way Deadpool's universe was going to get destroyed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cataclysm storyline. Yeah.
Yeah. And which feeds into
upcoming Doomsday film.
Right.
Yeah. which is why there's so many people from other franchises that Marvel just purchased.
Yeah.
Did you get my picture, James?
Yes, I did. Let me
While you pulling that up, I'm going to say this, and it might cause problems for people.
Go for it.
This Fantastic Four movie is going to be the worst Marvel movie. What the fuck is this?
This is
this is what Joy was talking about. So
yeah, when it was actually called the Mr. World competition, and this was the guy who showed up for the United States.
Yeah, he's trying to be Steve Rogers. He's giving a whole lot of John Walker.
Yes. And he looks more like Puerto Rico than the United States anyway.
Yeah. I was about to say, I was like, that don't look like the United States.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what he showed up, and he looks like a mass murderer.
Yeah.
He fits the stereotype between 25 and 40, in shape, attractive, killer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue.
Do I upset y'all when I say these things with a straight face? Y'all be looking at me like y'all worried about me.
I worry about you, but not for that reason.
What Teresa said. Oh man, the other post-credit scene was Alexi in the supermarket trying to get a woman to buy the Wheaties box with all of them on it.
Which was very cute. Like we said, he's the comic relief. He's the cute, whimsical to be 250 pounds. He's the whimsical one of the team that always just very positive and wants things to go well and be part of the Thunderbolts.
Right. He's the big Russian teddy bear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did anyone at the movie theater you went to see the film, did it have the giant Wheaties box there?
Yes.
Not at mine, no.
Oh, you're missing
They
out.
had it at Regal. Yeah.
Yes.
You're missing
and I
out.
asked them, what do they do with all of this stuff? Because I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna put it. But I was asking for it. And he was like, well, sometimes the movies people come back and they take their props, but other times he just gives it to his employees, but his employees have first choice. I was going to offer this man money.
How big is the Wheaties box?
It was huge.
It's about 6.5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay. That's
about 6 feet wide.
Gotcha. Okay.
It was huge. I don't even know how it would fit into the
It's
house.
basically a wall mural.
Yes.
And you want to know one of the most infuriating things I've seen in quite some time? They actually had those Wheaties boxes, like regular cereal size boxes. And General Mills sent them in PR packs to influencers, but to all kinds of influencers. So I saw this lady that I follow on TikTok opening her PR box, and it had the Thunderbolts Wheaties box in it. And I'm sitting there just salivating, like, why could I not get my hands on this box? And she's opening, and she's like, oh, I guess this is like, something about the movie. I don't know. Yeah, and
why is it not on store
people that have no idea about the movie?
Right. She did not appreciate it for what it was at all, and I'm like,
they had done better to have some fake Girl Scouts out in front of Kroger selling Wheaties boxes.
Right. It should have been in the
grocery
store. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the side of the box. And
and all of them are in the front, and then in the back there's like games that you can play on the back of the box.
And then, like, look at the
88%.
Reliability
12%. Strength 92%. Honesty 7%. Teamwork 4%. Patience 11. Confidence 96. Humility 3. Wisdom 9. Grit 88. Fairness 6. Optimism 2. Lethalness, 99%. Loyalty to be determined.
Nice.
And these is supposed to be the Avengers.
Warning: some ingredients may not mix well together.
Let me see if I can actually play this. But this is what the front of the box. Is this coming through?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is the video I took when I saw it.
Look at Bucky. Fucking.
I was just like, boy, look at Dirty Bucky. Dirty Bucky looking good.
Oh my God.
His hair just be all bouncy. I bet it smell like peaches too.
It just takes me back to Falcon Winter Soldier when Bucky was flirting with Sam's sister.
Yes, and Sam was like, I think not.
Right?
What you're not gonna do with that arm.
But she was all right with it.
I was all right
Didn't
with
I
it
get
too.
a chance to meet him when he was at the
Smiling ear to
convention?
ear.
You said you met him?
I know I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance, but my girlfriend she took 2 pictures with him, and she was like, he smells so good.
I knew he smelled good. He looked like he smelled. You know who looked like they stink? Oh, what's his name? Dang, dude from How Stella Got Her Groove Back.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
The guy. What's his name?
Tay Diggs?
Tay Diggs looked like his breath stink.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Bucky looked like he smelled good. And I know Steve Rogers just smells like Irish soap. Irish Spring. Irish Spring and wood. I know he does.
He smells like military soap.
Maybe. Might still be all right though. Soap is better than most of the alternatives out
Oh,
there.
and you know, so it's like a gentleman's room with a good cigar smell. The fancy ass cigars. Damn, what's his name? The one that did Chinook. I met him. The Black Panther. The
Namor.
Namor.
Oh, okay. Oh, that guy. Yes.
Yes. I inhaled. He smells so good. He smells so good.
Everybody Christmas.
Y'all
He
don't
smells
understand,
so
man.
good.
The olfactory senses is outsized portion of attraction for
No. The only thing about this that bothers me is if I were to meet Angela Bassett and do it, I'd be the creepy old guy for smelling Angela Bassett.
You would.
That's the only thing about this that bothers me is I'd be creepy for smelling Angela Bassett.
There's
Right.
a double
So
Accept
that's
the double
one
standard
for you,
exists and just
but
keep
how many
Oh, I know,
things
I know.
for us?
Move on.
So you can live with that.
Yeah, you'll be all right. But I mean, like it's like, you know, we're speculating about what they smell like, and if you catch them in passing, you'd be like, we don't like walk up behind somebody while they're doing an interview on, you know, on the red carpet and be like that's weird. Don't be sniffing people. But if you give somebody a hug and you get that hug like whiff of like sandalwood and whiskey, like, oh, you smell so
Sandalwood
good.
and whiskey.
Mhm.
Right.
And it's always like
That's what I'm telling you. It was like I didn't even think of sandalwood because when I tell you, my mind went to a Cuban in Cuba, a cigar with fucking rich ass men sitting there smoking the most expensive cigars. He just smelled so good.
See, I would imagine that's what Nick Fury probably smells like.
No,
His
Nick Fury
expensive
smell like
cigars.
Pall Malls.
And Hennessy.
Pall Malls and Hennessy. Yep. And bad decisions. Yep.
How did we get here? Nobody's supposed to be here.
Yo, when you take pictures with people, you just don't go up and I slow everybody down. I'm like, y'all not rushing me. I paid too much money for this. We gonna have a conversation. We gonna talk. I'm gonna fix myself. We gonna do some type of. I'm just not gonna stand and go, no, we're gonna do some type of move. I'm just gonna think about it. Let's do this. And that's what I said to him. I was like, I need you to do a fighting move. I need you to grab her. And my girlfriend wasn't paying attention because she was too busy starry-eyeing. And when he grabbed her, she was truly shocked. And that's the picture that we got.
Nice.
So
Okay, so let's bring it back so we can get to the rest of the show.
okay, so Furious, real quick. You are the hardcore comic. Did you read the Fantastic Four?
No,
Okay.
I don't care about the Fantastic Four.
Nobody cares about the Fantastic Four, and I don't know why they keep making these movies. It had to be said.
The only person from the Fantastic Four I care about are the children, Franklin and Valeria.
Yes.
Other than that, no.
And I will agree with him because the only Fantastic Four comics I've ever read in my entire life are ones that feature Spider-Man. And that was way back in the 80s. Now, a run I would like to read of the Fantastic Four doesn't even have all four of them. It's where T'Challa and Storm step in for Reed and Sue. I would like to read.
Nobody likes Reed and Sue.
I would like to read that run of Fantastic Four. But
Now,
And
I
when
do-
this one comes out, Joy, they're not going to like them even more because
No, I can already
pick the
tell that they're
wrong
gonna
people
suck.
for these show. I mean,
No.
from
They-
The
the
characters themselves are boring. I don't
they're
care about
just,
nothing they do.
they're just not.
they cannot get all four of them right in any single film.
Nope.
It seems like. So the first one that Fox did, I feel like they nailed it with Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, right?
Mhm.
And with Chickless as the Thing.
Chickless is the thing. Now, the guy who played Reed, 50-50. I could see arguments for or against. Jessica Alba was a complete miss. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what Hollywood does. Like, she was hot at the time. I think she was coming off Sin City or whatever. And they're like, let's put her in this movie. And she didn't need to be in there.
I could have done without her in Sin City.
And as much as I love Halle Berry, that's the only reason Halle Berry played Storm in the very first X-Men. She was
coming off Oscar win.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now,
And I'm gonna be mad at her forever for that frog line. I'm gonna be mad at her forever. Forever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she did not ad lib that. I'm pretty sure that was an actual written line someone told her to say. And she was
They
like,
made her say that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think she don't want to be Storm again. She's like, I'm not doing that. Embarrass myself again. No.
Now, the second time they tried to do or try to start up the Fantastic Four franchise is where we had the only notable actor for me in that film was Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm, which personality-wise works.
No, the guy who played, I don't know his name, but the guy who played their father was a very
Reggie Caffey.
Yeah.
I never saw that movie.
You didn't miss.
You're not missing anything.
I mean, that's saying a lot, but I did not see a Michael B. Jordan movie.
This is young Michael B. Jordan. This is before he's Killmonger.
This is Wallace.
This is before Killmonger. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Was it that long ago? I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those that you can miss that you wouldn't even be like, scratch that from his IBM.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? IFMB, whatever that
IMDb.
Yeah.
Scratch that from it.
I feel like, and this is just not a knock at the three women who have played her thus far, but I feel like casting for the Fantastic Four always misses the mark with Sue Storm.
I'll tell you why. What is her personality? Exactly. That's why you can't cast.
No. Because I have, and this is something I've lent Furious and told him to watch. I don't know if he's actually seen it, but Fantastic Four: World's Greatest Heroes is cartoon, probably the best cartoon about the Fantastic Four, which nails them stylistically and personality wise. For me, the best I've ever seen in any medium whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And Sue is, while being one of the most powerful beings on the planet, also has a nurturing mother-like, like she's a responsible adult of the group, if you will.
And she's needed in what's the not the one that's coming up. The one after that.
Doomsday?
Is it no after Doomsday? What's the other one?
Secret Wars?
Secret Wars.
Okay.
She's the Fantastic Four with them fighting. she is the one that keeps everybody in line from listening to the audio, the audible.
Okay.
She is the one that is level-headed.
She is basically the level-headed voice of reason for the Fantastic Four, because Reed can get lost in science and has zero common sense because of it. Like, it
so
never
who would you cast?
Huh?
As the level-headed voice of reason, who would you cast?
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. But so far 0 for 2, because it's not Jessica Alba not believing it. Sorry.
They're about to bat 0 when they do this again.
Yeah.
I'm reserving judgment for this upcoming film, but it's still like, we'll see.
Hold on. I know
It's not
exactly
looking
who I
good
would.
from the trailers.
Let me go find what I.
It's not, because look at Ben Grimm. I mean, from the first movie, he looks more like that and talk like he's from New York. This one here doesn't talk like that. It's garbage.
And he looks plastic.
Yes. I'm like, you don't even look all of the time from the first movie until now, and y'all doing all of this AI, and this is what you come up with? Like,
Right.
This crap. This is going to be crap.
I will say for this one, they did have him looking more like his traditional comic book self, which I'm like, that's not always necessary to do.
Not if everybody else is photorealistic. They should have had a realistic thing as well. More like the Michael Chiklis version, which made sense.
The Chiklis version wasn't comic book accurate by any stretch of the imagination.
But it's what a pile of rocks turned into, or human turned into a pile of rocks. That's what they would look like.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have cast, and I don't know if I'm going to pronounce her last name correctly, but Hannah Waddingham is who I would cast as Sue Storm.
Where would I know her from?
She's the lead in Ted Lasso. She's the lady who owns the soccer team that he gets hired to coach for.
Anything else?
Remember in Game of Thrones, the lady who's shaking the shame bell and
Her?
walking down? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I would cast her as Sue Storm.
No, she's no.
I would say she might be a little too old.
She already too old.
Yeah, I'm about to say she probably might be too old to play that role.
And this is coming from somebody who does diversity and inclusion for a living, and I'm very much against ageism. However, she already at grandmother age. Like, nah, not to be the ingenue, not to be the very young, haven't gotten pregnant yet wife of Doc MD. And yeah, she's supposed to play like a 25-year-old. This woman looks 50 if she's a day. No, there's no way.
She is 50.
And spoiler, if you haven't seen it in the trailer yet, Sue announces that she's pregnant in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Which I was thinking about, Furious, you said that you only cared about Reed and Sue's children. Maybe they're headed that way. Around the time they ever get to the new Avengers or the young Avengers, those kids will be, 10, 12.
And see, I honestly, I'm thinking on that ship that we see in the post-credit scene, I'm thinking it's either the kids or Reed Richards. I don't think everybody survives this movie.
They do set it up.
They're going back in time? Is that what you think that's going to happen?
No, I don't. So again,
because all of them need to be there for the wars, secret wars.
No, all of them don't necessarily need to be there, because remember, if they're pulling from the comics, what's happening is the multiverse is collapsing. If that's what they're doing. And what I think is the Earth from the Fantastic Four, their universe gets destroyed, and Reed Richards manages to launch that ship to get to a universe that's still alive.
Mm-hmm. Which if he does that, that's messed up, man. You couldn't port the whole world. You just let everybody else die. You selfish bastard.
And that's what I say. I don't believe everybody from the Fantastic Four survives. The reason I think it's the kids, if it's Franklin Richards is this all-powerful being who can manipulate reality. So if he survives, it would be easy for him to find another universe where the Fantastic Four are still alive and pull them in. If that's what they're doing, I don't know. But again, it's just based on some things that I remember from the comics and what it looks like they're doing in the movies. I don't think everybody from the Fantastic Four movie survives.
So you're basically looking at, if pulling from the comics, I see one or two things. They could go that route, which sends Reed spiraling and he becomes the Maker.
Right.
And then there's the other route in which as far as I know from events across Marvel Comics over the years, is that the one character who almost always dies when the Fantastic Four has to get away from something is Johnny.
Yep.
They be doing lights out on Johnny all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah. But again, that's why I think
Name
the kids
off.
Wow. Just remember, you said this.
What's wrong with me? That's terrible.
All right, so final thoughts on Thunderbolts, so we can move on to the next thing.
It's a good movie. It's not the best, but it's absolutely not the worst. It's worth a watch, and I think they do an interesting take on dealing with or working with someone that is suffering from clinical depression.
It does an amazing job at, you don't have to suffer through, you don't have to suffer alone. There are people here, have a support system, and there are people here who want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think it's, while I'm not, the message on mental health is an amazing and well put together message that they've sent. The other thing is just the movie itself, while to me is kind of I think it does a good job of setting up the next couple of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Simone, Teresa?
I'll watch it when it comes on Disney Plus.
That's her final thoughts.
Teresa.
Yes, I agree with Mac that, it did well for continuity. I think it's a good movie. It was an entertaining movie, not the best. I don't need to see it anymore. I'll go watch this Screen Rant video and to tell me all the Easter eggs, and I'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I agree along the lines of Joy. That it's a good vehicle. It's a solid 8 out of 10 film for me.
Ooh, okay.
I'm surprised you got 8. Okay. I was expecting a 6 or a 7.
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Because trust me, I've given a handful of films in the MCU like a 2 or a 3. I'm looking at you, Thor: The Dark World.
Yep, I was about to say. That is always at the bottom of the list.
Yeah. Thor: The Dark World will always be the worst MCU film for me.
Mm-hmm.
Worse than Iron Man 3?
Not bad, though.
And I'm telling you, Fantastic Four is going to take that title.
Wait, James.
That's the hill I'm going to die on.
Wait, James, Thor: The Dark World is worse to you than Iron Man 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Iron Man 3 started off strong, and then
I like Iron Man 3. Now, granted, it's not the best Iron Man movie, but I still like it.
Again, I like Thor: The Dark World, but it was a bad movie.
Yeah, Thor: The Dark World is a horrible film.
It's a horrible movie. It shouldn't have been made.
Stop being nice. It's not a bad movie. It's a horrible film.
Iron Man 3 though has a whole lot of redeeming moments, and we
got like that, and not the screaming goats. I'm confused.
The Screaming Goats is terrible, but it's not as bad as Dark World.
Dark World is the worst. I will watch Love and Thunder to
all
the cows
come
come
home. Movies
home.
are in the bottom 10.
I watch Love and Thunder for I can multiple times watch Love and Thunder before I even think about looking at the Dark World ever again.
Right, and Ragnarok was of the best of the Thor movies, but that put it basically on par with Star-Lord and them. Like it was good, it was funny, and
Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy. It was. I'm glad they went funny with it, but you can take the handful of scenes that you like out of the movie and watch them as clips, and you really not have missed anything else about that movie. That and then the Thor getting his lightning powers back at the end is the hottest scene out of a lot of movies, but that it doesn't redeem the whole movie. But anyway, it's still better than a lot of other things. I like Age of Ultron, and most people don't. So
I don't see why not.
Other people's young. Yeah, I thought Age of Ultron.
The only knockabout I have with Age of Ultron is, again, you wasted a character. But I get it. Somebody had to die.
Yeah.
So sucks that it had to be him, but here we are.
Here we are. So we got a little bit of time left.
Wait. Before we go to the next thing, I have to ask because at mine, I'm sorry, what was that?
I said we're already on the next thing, but go ahead.
Where's this movie? Where is this scene with Doom fighting Thanos?
Sorry, what?
There's a scene that I've seen on the internet of Robert Downey Jr. As Doom ripping out Thanos's spine just like he does in the comics.
Okay.
What movie is that scene, post-credit scene from?
That's not a post-credit scene in anything.
Is it even an actual real trailer?
Probably not.
It's probably something that people online did. I've seen they've done real good with the AI now.
AI has made a lot of believable stuff that's like, this didn't happen. So you may have been catfished with AI.
Because if you think about when Robert Downey Jr. was announced as Doom, they haven't really made too many movies since then for them to put a trailer like that in the back. And then why would you give away something like that in a trailer? But that can't be real.
Yeah. Now, granted, it has happened in the comics. It's probably one of the last comics I read. But yeah, where Doom merged all the worlds together because the multiverse is falling apart. But yeah,
if that was in a trailer, it'd be in front of every movie.
Everybody, right? Everybody would be talking about if that was an actual thing that happened in the trailer. That would be the top of all like nerd talk right now, of just even entertainment talk. Speaking of entertainment, as I said, shenanigans. What have we all seen recently on TV or streaming since the last time we got together? Anyone can start.
I've been watching Poker Face.
Poker Face. Okay.
Poker Face. I couldn't even tell you which one it's on. It's God, I can't remember her name. I used to see her in commercials and loved her in commercials, but she's a combination of
Natasha Lyonne.
Okay, her, yeah.
The redhead from the American Pie films, to go back that far, but she's older now.
Yeah, this type of movie, she can tell when people are lying. So if somebody lies, she knows it, and she had to stop working in what do you call it? She was in Las Vegas and the casinos, and they found out that this was one of her skills, and they were like, okay, we're not going to kill you. You have to work here. You can never gamble again. And she decided okay, this is what we're going to do. The father let the son run the company, and the son is like, I need you. I'm going to pull you in. We're going to get these people to come and you're going to read them, and we're going to start making some money. And somehow or other, she found out that she killed the son, killed her best friend. And when she found out, she basically said, I'm going to get you. And the man ended up killing himself. And the father started chasing her around the world. So it's a good movie. She keeps going into different places to find jobs, and then people die, and then she's like, okay, I'm going to help you solve this, but then she has to leave before the police get there.
So she's Carmen Sandiego. Like, what's really happening?
Yeah. That's basically what she is. She helps solve crimes, makes friends, and then moves on.
Oh wow, this movie looks like it's got a great cast.
It's a series on Peacock, I believe.
Oh, it's a series.
Yeah,
okay,
it's a series.
2 seasons.
2 seasons, yeah. It's good.
There's
one episode was two. God, I can't think of the people's names. One of them, I had to look at her face, and I was like, oh my God, that's her. And this is how she looks old. I can't remember her name. I have to send it to y'all in the chat. But this
is she from some other show?
Yes, she's from a show back in the 90s. But me saying that, the boss, Who's the Boss?
Okay.
The chick from Who's the Boss?
Alyssa Milano?
No, the mother, right?
The mother.
Oh,
the blonde girl. Yeah.
Yeah, the blonde girl. She's
Gotcha.
an older woman. They're both in a senior citizens home, and God, I can't remember who the other black lady is, but they are basically killers.
Nice.
They were killers back in the day. They made it seem like, oh, we were in the 60s and it was flower power, and oh, we're gonna save the world, and then our boyfriend, he cheated on us, and we thought he was killed, but he basically turned them in, and the FBI put him secretly away, and the story that they told was the story that they told was, okay, well, we're trying to save the world from being oppressed by the man, but they was about to blow up a school. When the story was retold, it was like, oh, well, we were making bombs to blow up this school so that people can understand. And then the girl was like, wait, but you were going to kill kids. Mm-hmm. And that's not the
American way.
You were telling me. But yeah, they were devious.
On Who's the Boss? So yeah.
Yeah, there was some devious. That was my show. And then Doctor Who, which I really can't get into. I can't.
Wait, what? You tried to watch Doctor Who?
I can't get into. I've been watching Doctor Who since the 4th Doctor.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm a hardcore Doctor Who fan, but I can't get into this one as much as I'm like so excited that it's a person of color. Mm-hmm. He seems weak. He's not giving me, even though the female gave me tough, she was scared, but you couldn't really tell she was scared. This one here, he's showing me too much fear. I'm like, I need you to, you're the doctor. What the fuck?
Yeah. See, I love the
fear. What the hell?
I love the fact. I love the fact that the new doctor is showing more emotion.
No, that's too much for me. I need you to dial that back. No, it's too much.
How do you feel about the Ronnie?
The new chick? The two. I want him to kill them.
Wow.
I want him to turn into the doctor, the man that I know that he can be, and take them out. I don't want them there no more. I don't want them there. I want them gone. I want him to kill. I want him to bring Matt Smith back so he can help kill them.
Oh no! See, to me, I can't stand Matt Smith as the doctor. The only thing that made his doctor tolerable were the companions.
All right, Teresa, what have you been watching before you bounce out of here?
Honestly, I haven't really watched anything. I can't sit still long enough to stream anything. All the stuff on streaming, I haven't watched. I was thinking earlier, trying to what have I watched? And the only thing I could really come up with, I watched the whole season of Will Trent, so I'm caught up on that. And I watched this show on Sci-Fi called Surreal Estate.
Yo, that is so good.
I love that show so much. I'm not caught up. It may just be one episode last week because I was Momo-conning that I haven't watched. But I love that show. But that's all I've been, that's all I'm caught up on. I haven't watched Andor. I haven't watched The Last of Us. And I don't know when I'm going to get to them, because they're all stacked up now. But that's all I've watched. If you like X-Files, the Rule of the Week type thing, watch Surreal Estate on Sci-Fi.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. Joy.
When I'm not watching K-dramas, I could recommend a lot of those to y'all, but I know you're not gonna watch them.
I will.
They will go on the ever-growing Netflix list, and I will eventually get to them. Look, I'll watch Attorney Woo.
Attorney Woo was great. It was great. So. Another one that I'm watching right now is called Moon Lovers, and it's a romance, but not really a romance. It's more like period piece set in the early founding of Korea as a nation, and how there's like 10 or 12 brothers, maybe even 14 total. Some of them are already dead, but of the 14 brothers is like the 3 to 4, the 8, 10, and the 14, and a couple others, ranging in age, and are secretly but not so secretly fighting for the throne. And then this one girl like falls back in time and has to like help them, and she everything. But it's a really cute show. The other thing that I've been watching is Apothecary Diaries, which is anime. You can get it on Crunchyroll and on Netflix if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And I found it surprisingly good. The whole premise is this girl. Now, mind you, this is ancient Korea or Japan or China, wherever they are. But this girl is minding her business as an apothecary or, scientist. And she's in love with discovering poisons and whatnot so she can figure out how to get antidotes. Gets snatched off the street, ends up in the palace, and nobody says nothing. And then she just ends up working in the palace forever. And then it follows her shenanigans that she gets up to in the palace, like trying to basically whodunit. It's a crime to solve, kind of like Scooby-Doo, like every episode. Who did this? Who poisoned that? Why is this person acting crazy, etc. But her foil / straight man for the show is the head eunuch, who is not, in fact, a eunuch, but she don't know that. And she don't know that for most of the show. And the way she finds out one day is hilarious. So yeah, it's really good. But I like the whodunit piece of it because I like the following the murders and trying to understand how somebody slipped poison into something, so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Furious?
I've actually been watching a couple of things. Simone and I are probably going to fight one day over Doctor Who because I completely disagree with her on the new Doctor. I love the emotion that he's showing. It is very different from previous Doctors, but I think that's the point, especially with typically the way Doctor Who ends and begins again is he regenerates into a new Doctor every few seasons or so. But this was the first time, instead of regenerating, he split. They called it bi-generation, and he just split, and you got to keep David Tennant's Doctor, and we get the new Doctor. And I'm wondering if a lot of the things you're seeing that you hate are a result of them doing this whole split instead of a traditional regeneration. So, I don't know if that's where they're going or not. I don't know. But no, I've been loving the new Doctor Who. I have been getting caught up on Andor. And I have to say, as far as Star Wars series goes, it is the best series Star Wars has ever made.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Because that's the only one I've never watched.
Right.
I personally think it is the best series they have ever done. It is.
I was like, I don't need to know about how Star Wars started or Rogue One started. I was like, I already got the prequel for that. I don't need to know the next prequel. But you saying that it's good, I'm going to give it a chance.
Yeah,
that's the only Star Wars show that's the whole timeline. That's the only one that I have not watched.
One of the things that I truly love about it is it has nothing to do with the Skywalkers.
Yeah, because kids.
That's always a good thing.
As much as I love Star Wars, I am sick of the Skywalkers, and I want other stories in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
Because there are so many other interesting characters.
Well, I mean, and everybody's gonna die, so you just
it does come with a spoiler. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. The other thing that I love that came out is season 4 of Love, Death, and Robots.
I need to pick that up.
I will watch that tomorrow.
If you haven't watched it, watch it. Like, I didn't intend to watch the entire thing in one sitting.
What is that?
It's on Netflix. But the thing I love about it is if I'm remembering correctly, the longest episode is only 15 minutes.
Right.
And the shortest episode, at least this season, was like 3 minutes. So you've got enough variation in your time that, like I said, I sat down and was just going to watch like a couple of episodes. And when I got up, I'd watch the entire thing.
Yeah, each season
the format is
about an hour
reminiscent
long.
of the format is reminiscent of the Animatrix, where you have a whole bunch of things that are not even set in the same universe, just that are all together, and they're either about love, death, or robots, or all of the above. So it's a really good series.
One of the things that I do like about Love, Death, and Robots is there is a certain amount of overlap between some of the stories. Like the robots and the cats.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to
there's overlap between those two stories. But yeah, this season had some really, really good episodes. And if you're a fan of Love, Death, and Robots, I definitely suggest watching it. Like I said, it's short enough that you can sit down and watch it in one sitting and not even realize, oh, damn, I sat here for X amount of time and watched the whole thing. But the storytelling is that good that I just could not get up out of my chair and go do anything else.
Yeah, the whole thing is shorter than one Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You mentioned Star Wars. They started with Tales of the Jedi, then did Tales of the Empire, and this month they dropped Tales of the Underworld. And the two stories that they told were about Visage Ventress and Cad Bane.
Yeah.
And I need to go back and watch Ventress's story because the opening sequence kind of baffled me as far as what was going on, because there's a character who shows up, and I don't want to spoil it, but
spoilers. You gave the warning. What do you mean you don't want to spoil it?
It did come out May 4th. So Obi-Wan Kenobi shows up in the very first scene of the story for Ventress. And it looks like she's dead. And I'm trying to understand that sequence is how it progresses the rest of her story over the next 3 episodes. Because again, it's only 6 episodes, 3 for her, 3 for Bane. Cad Bane's story is very straightforward. It shows how he got to be the way we've come to know him from Star Wars Clone Wars to Rebels to when Timothy Oliphant killed him in either, what was it, Book of Boba Fett or season 2 of The Mandalorian, whichever one of those shows it was. I keep getting them mixed up as far as where he dies. Yeah, spoiler, Cad Bane dies in the live action of one of those 2 shows.
Damn.
So
I think it's the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, one of them he dies. Yes, So yeah, Book of Boba Fett, because I remember Timothy Oliphant is the lawman in the town that he's like, we finally had enough of Cad Bane, and and they have a shootout, and shocker, Oliphant's character wins.
Yeah. That's Boba Fett.
Yeah, and I was like, but it's Cad Bane. He's not supposed to be Cad Bane. It's Cad Bane.
Oliphant. It's in his contract that he don't die.
But it shows how Cad Bane got to, the beginning of how, and it starts with him being a kid. And his name is Kobe.
Yeah, and it shows
jokes there
how
where you want to insert them, Toby. But yeah. So that's one thing. I also saw recently, and I know it's been out for a while, but The Continental. I bring that up because in a month or so we're going to have the ballerina set in the world of John Wick. Now,
the Continental is hot. Isn't that nice?
The Continental is basically a prequel mini-series, if you will. It's only 3 episodes. Each episode is about 2 hours long, and it sets up how Winston gets control and starts running the Continental Hotel that is in the 4 films that we've seen.
This is the last movie he did, right? Or the last stuff?
This is the last thing that, oh gosh, who's in it? That
Lance Riddick, right?
No,
this is before he.
Yeah, this is before he even gets there. They have a character playing the younger version of him, though.
Okay.
Because
this is back in the 70s, isn't it?
Yeah, it takes place in the 70s.
Okay. And this is when the white guy owned it and everything.
Yeah.
This was how he became.
It's how he became the owner of the Continental. Now, of course, if you've seen,
and that's the guy that played Odin in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
American Gods. Okay.
American Gods, yeah. If you've seen Winston act in any of the John Wick films, you know that Winston always acts in his own self-interest. And you see how he got that way in this short series.
Yeah, okay.
It is
Where
very
is
well done. It also sets up some other factions you see throughout the films as well, like Lawrence Fishburne's homeless people faction. That is set up in here. And very well done too, because the climax is insane. Because Winston literally accounted, you think he's just going about this like trying to figure out how things are going to happen, and he's already accounted for everything that could and possibly take place. So it shows that even at a young age, he was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers.
And his sister, he had the sister.
No, he didn't have a sister.
No, yes, there was a female.
There are several women characters in this, but none of them are
the homeless. The not Winston, the homeless.
Yes. Oh yeah, a black woman runs it. Yes.
Yes,
a black woman does run that group. Other than that, I have been watching tons of anime. Simone is upset with me because I literally binged all the Free Rent on Monday.
No, you bashed Free Rent. You didn't binge. I'm mad at you because you bashed her.
I did not bash her.
You said
she is insanely aloof and quite daft when it comes to
and
Fern.
She was sheltered, so she doesn't understand, and that's why she's out in the world trying to understand mankind.
She's several hundred years old, though.
Yes, she is.
And she was sheltered
for 700 years. Like she went out. Didn't she defeat a whole demon king? No.
Joy,
you ain't learned some social.
They will tell you exactly how old Free Rent is in that series, and let's just put it this way: however old you think she is, you're wrong.
Wait, what is it? What is this on?
Crunchyroll.
Yes,
Crunchyroll. Other series that I'm currently watching that are still airing.
Wait,
right
tell
now.
Joy where the Continental is because I can't remember.
Continental is on Peacock.
On Peacock. Okay.
I don't have Peacock. And James, if you're using my Peacock, stop because I changed internet providers and I changed the password the other day. So.
Oh, I'm not. I actually have Peacock because of my internet provider, so I will give you my password.
Oh, okay, cool, thanks.
But I'm currently watching as well My Hero Academia Vigilantes.
Is that good? I was hesitating to start that.
It is interesting because it's set years before the events of My Hero Academia.
That's a no.
I said it's interesting. I didn't say it wasn't good. I said it's interesting. I'm waiting for the series to complete. So far, I like what I'm seeing.
You know what that sounds like?
You can watch that before you watch the original?
No, you don't. You don't need to watch it. There are cameos made by current heroes that you're familiar with in My Hero Academia. So yes, All Might does pop up along with some other folks related to the students as well. Another series I'm currently watching is the Gorilla Gods Go-To Girl, which is a cute little rom-com reverse harem in which the lead character is a young girl in high school who is blessed with the powers of a gorilla. And she doesn't want to tell anybody because of that power set. She's chosen to be one of the royal knights. And she's basically just trying to live a low-key life and get through high school without being acknowledged or standing out to draw attention to herself. It fails spectacularly because the boys who serve with her in the Royal Knights and her commander all are falling for her. And it's cute. It is it's
you
cute.
Said it's a reverse rom-com. Is it adult to where I can't?
No, reverse harem.
I mean, reverse harem. Can't have this on with the kids running around.
You can have it on with the kids running around. It's just instead of there being a central guy and all the girls fawning over him, it's a central lead woman character with all the guys fawning over her. So
it's just a harem. I was wondering why you kept saying reverse harem. I was like, do they all?
That's what it's called because typically a harem show centers on the male.
Sexist.
I know.
It's a harem with a woman in the middle.
The audience will understand what I'm saying.
What is the name of this show?
It's called The Gorilla Gods Go-To Girl.
Right. Because she pledges herself to the gorilla god, right?
No, she doesn't. The gorilla god chose her.
Oh, well, there you have it.
And that's what?
Now, a harem show I am watching is called I Left My A-Rank Party to Help My Former Students Reach the Dungeon Depths. That is a harem because it is one
That's
guy.
The whole title?
That is the whole title.
Wait, say it one more time, James.
I left my A-Rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths. Yeah, that entire sentence is the title. And this guy pretty much leaves his former party because they think they don't need a healer anymore because they feel like everything he does is useless, which is dumb and the current trope in most anime being released right now. Stop kicking your healers out of the party. They help you more than you realize.
Mm-hmm.
And a party of 3 young women who he trained to be adventurers see him and like, hey, you're a healer and we need a healer in our group. Please come adventuring with us. And he helps them go through their first couple of dungeon runs. And the party expands to where it's like 3 more young ladies join the group. So now he's surrounded by 6 women and just him in this. But
when is he surrounded by the police? Because isn't he their former teacher? He should go to jail for this.
He's not that much older than them. They're all like anywhere between, well, sorry, let me rephrase that. 5 of them are between the ages of 16 and 20. He is actually 19. And the youngest member of the group who they just recently got is like 13, 14 years old. Mm. But they also do this stupid thing, which I hate in all anime, is that there's always a woman in the group who is an adult, but they draw her as Lolly.
Yeah.
Like 12 years old or something, but and that's the problem. There is a member of the group who is actually 20, but she looks 12. Mm-hmm. And I hate when they do that in anime. It is annoying.
Mm-hmm. But you know they're catering to their audience.
I know. And then of course there are current seasons right now of Fire Force and Windbreaker, season 3 of Fire Force, season 2 of Windbreaker that are currently airing right now as well. So that is my anime watching right now.
What is the Gorilla God's go-to girl on?
Everything I named is on Crunchyroll.
Subs or dub?
Both. Because I know Joy is waiting for a few more episodes of Windbreaker to drop so she can start binging in English.
Yes, because I don't have I spend all my time reading Korean. I'm not going to read Japanese in a cartoon when their mouth don't even match anyway. So that's why I don't mind doing dubs for cartoons, because it was going to be ba 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 regardless.
If I'm gonna read, I got books.
There you go. I got so many comic books that I need to read. Going back like 2 years.
2 years, that's cute.
All right. Anyway,
we ain't gonna talk about how many I still gotta read from a decade ago. Entire runs sitting in the closet collecting dust. I'm gonna do better one day.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I said one day. I didn't say now.
No, you're not. Them comics ain't ever gonna get read.
They will get read because one of them is Shuri's run, one of them is finishing up Miles's run, the other
James, I will have a 6-pack before you finish all the comics you've got on your backlog.
Wow.
See, the initial reaction would be say that's a damn lie, but
okay. Okay.
We all will remember this, Furious.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We will remember this day.
Mm-hmm.
May 28th, 10:19 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yep.
A pack
Put a pin in it.
Mm-hmm.
Put a pin in it.
Speaking of putting a pin in it, I'm about to pass out.
Good, because we are done for the evening. Final words before we get out of here for the night.
Go watch Doctor Who, damn it.
Oh, that's
saying not to watch Doctor Who. I like Doctor Who. I watch it. I'm
talking to the people watching us.
Faithfully. I watch Doctor Who faithfully. I'm not telling people.
I ain't talking to you, woman.
I just don't like this doctor.
Well, you're wrong.
Wow. And on that note, since someone's wrong on Doctor Who, we will get out of here for the night. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it cedar lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if you put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.